Danny, can I just start by asking you what the last couple of days have been like, and what's the mood been like amongst the team, and what sort of conversations you've had to have with them?
I think we've had 2 good days. It's been a good opportunity for us to obviously learn from the performance on Sunday, for us to regroup, and yeah, we've had 2 positive days, and the boys are in good spirits going into what is a very important game tomorrow at Birmingham.
When we spoke to you after the game on Sunday, you showed a lot of fight for this battle that you're in. Do you see that in your squad as well? Do you see that in their eyes when you sat talking to them and trying to get into them?
Absolutely, yeah. Like I've said many times before, I have trust in the players as both footballers and as human beings, and I think what we have to show now is a resilience and a robustness. We've had 2 disappointing results off the back of the lockdown, and we have to try to respond and get the right performance and the right result tomorrow evening.
How do you build that into them then? And how much of it is you building that resilience into them and them actually having to dig deep inside themselves and get it?
Well, I think all of our players have a level of resilience. I think to be a professional footballer and to come as far as they have done in their careers, that you naturally need that, because in elite sport we know that it doesn't always go our way, and you have to roll with the success, and also you have to deal with the disappointments. And this is our lives and what we have lived for a long period of time now. And yeah, it's something that you get used to dealing with. We have to look after them as human beings and try to get them in the right place physically, and even more importantly, the right place mentally, to be able to approach tomorrow night's game and then the games to come.
The mental aspect's huge, isn't it? Trying to get them G'd up again for another game. You mentioned the other day, 7 games now, quick fire, all going to be battles. It's a real physical battle for this group, but also a mental battle.
Absolutely, and it will be for the other 23 teams in the division as well, because the games are coming incredibly quick. There's not much time in between. We're literally 2 days recovery in between each match, and this is the challenge that is in front of us, and this is the one that we've got to try to overcome.
How are you finding it on a personal level as well? You've had lots of highs in your careers, lots of promotions. How are you finding a dogfight that you find yourself in right now?
Well, I probably haven't had as many disappointments in my career as I have done in this season, and that's just the nature of where we found the club and what the position that we find ourselves in. So that is different, and obviously you have to deal with that. I've been lucky enough to be used to winning, and I can honestly say that I enjoy winning much more than I do losing. So no, that is something that you have to manage. But I think for us, it's about being calm. We know that that's not necessarily everybody's emotion around us, but as a leader of this group, it's important that we stay calm and composed, that we don't let background noise or emotion affect our decision making. We keep communicating to the players clearly, and we keep trying to instill the confidence and belief that we have in the players, and trying to draw that out in the players as well. And I think that's equally as important. But sometimes and naturally we all do this, and I certainly do this. So I'm not critical of anyone for this, but we do overanalyze. And I go back to my time at Lincoln. If I'd lost both of my number 9s at Lincoln, I'm not sure we would have had the results that we consistently got. To be able to get our number 9s back for the next run of games is going to be incredibly important. It also allows us potentially to be able to use Carlin in his favoured position as well, which are huge benefits to us as a group.
How close are you then to having your number 9s back? How's Steve Mounier looking?
Well, we're hopeful that they've both been in the grass, and we're hopeful that they'll have some involvement tomorrow night, which will be a massive bonus to us all.
Yeah, it can take just a little thing like that, can't it, to lift everybody's spirits, to have that face back in that you rely so heavily on.
Oh, it's huge, isn't it? For me, in terms of recruitment, whenever I go to any club, it's always 1 and 9. Get those 2 positions sorted out first, because they're the 2 key positions in terms of the points they can gain you and also the points they can lose you. So It's a very important position. We know our win ratio with Steve or Fraser in that position is significantly higher, and yeah, we're hopeful that we will be able to have them back for this next run of games.
I think you touched on it after the game at the weekend, but can I ask you about the players that you wanted to recall from their loans, Schofields, Edmund Green and Karoma, and not being able to do that, and just how much of a disappointment that is, and how much you felt you might need them between now and the end of the season?
Yeah, well, it's a huge frustration for us. Like I said on Sunday, I don't understand the ruling, because the EFL have put the ruling in place because ultimately it's unprecedented times. We've all, not just us, all of the Championship clubs and the Premier League clubs have had to prepare the players in a very short space of time for an incredible, challenging number of games. The EFL brought this rule in to say that we could use the players that had been out on loan if they'd been at clubs and in leagues where their season had finished. So for me, that is the ruling. Why they made it even more complicated for themselves by suggesting that we had to apply for these players to play. Why they didn't just allow all players under the age of 23 to 23 and under to be available to play. That would be so much fairer. But you see, like the boy Scott at Hull, who's, I went to the Birmingham Hull game on Saturday. One of our rivals, he played for Motherwell this season and then played on Saturday for Hull and scored. I know Birmingham, we play tomorrow, have had 3 of their young players who've all been on loans, all available for them. So I don't understand why they're allowed their players back and we're not allowed ours. We've had absolutely no reasoning from the league. And, we've spoken at length about trying to create integrity for this division in very difficult times, and we all appreciate that it's hard for everybody. And I understand how difficult it is for the EFL, and I know that they're making decisions without the experience of having made these decisions before, because these are new times for everyone. But just use a bit of common sense and make life easy for yourself. Just make a rule for everybody. I just don't understand. For me, whenever a rule gets put in place, there must be some reasoning behind it, and we don't understand it, and that's what we're constantly trying to speak to the EFL about, but we're not getting much feedback back from them at the moment, which leaves us all a little bit frustrated. Do you feel you would have used them? Do you feel you would have needed them, or you do need them, I suppose, between now and the end of the season? Absolutely. For us, in the position we're in, with the amount of games that we have, and with where we are with the squad, they're young players that we've got a lot of belief in, and absolutely they would have been involved. Another story that's emerged over the last 24, 48 hours is the future of John Goran Stankovic, and it appears that he will be leaving at the end of the season to join Sturm Graz. Can you just tell us how that's played out from your perspective? No, well, we think an awful lot of Jon as a professional. He's been fantastic since we've been in. He's such a diligent, conscientious boy, young player. We see so much potential in him. We were desperately keen to try to keep him, but it wasn't possible, and that's no fault of anybody's. It's just where we are as a club at the moment in terms of the position that we are in the league, and also with this unprecedented situation, and are not in a position where we can offer new contracts. And as a consequence, someone like Jon, who we did have an option on, we weren't able to take it. And that is disappointing, not just for me, that's disappointing for everybody at the club. We all feel that, but we have to accept that's where we're at. And I think, for Jon, I'm not surprised that he's been able to find a club so quickly, because he's a really good young player, and I think in different circumstances would have actually played a lot more for us. And credit to him, because he could easily now walk away with the fact that he has a new club and a new team to play for next year and prepare for their season. But he wants to see this through, because I know the club means a lot to him, and he's really thankful of the opportunity that he's had here. And also he's just a really good human being, and he wants to see it to its fruition.
So he's still available for you. You'll still select him. He'll still be part of these final 7 games. Yeah.
Absolutely, I've 100% trust in him as a human being, and if and when we need him, we will definitely use him. You know, for us at the moment, we are playing a lot of games in a short space of time, and we've obviously got the opportunity to have 9 subs, and we're able to use 5. We have a couple of experienced ones that we're trying to keep available for all of the games if possible. And as a consequence, when the results are where they are after 60 minutes, sometimes we're making decisions to help us for the next game, and that's they're the plans that we've put in place, and that's the best way we feel of being able to manage the group through what is now 7 games in 22 days.
What about Birmingham as the next challenge then? You mentioned you saw their game on Saturday. It was some game, wasn't it?
Yeah, we went there on Saturday after training, and before we met the players in the hotel at Nottingham, and it was a good game. Yeah, definitely a good one for the neutral. I'm not sure I was that neutral because I had a Birmingham scarf and hat on the day, but no, for us it was a good game, and we learned a lot from it. And Birmingham are a good team, got 2 fantastic forwards in Jukovic and Hogan that are a real handful. They're a team that like to overload the midfield and get their fullbacks high and wide and get lots of crosses in the box and ask a lot of questions of you physically. And we need to be ready to meet that challenge head on.
Hull putting 3 past them, though, shows they can be got at, can't they?
Well, I think this is what this division shows you. There's very little from the teams at the top to the bottom, and anybody can beat anybody on any given day. And what we have to do is make sure that we do the necessary preparations and get the team in the best possible place. There was a lot of positives to take from the Nottingham Forest performance. I think, you know, we had a good amount of possession again at 62%. I think Carl and Grant had 24 touches in their box, which was more than their whole team put together. And we had nearly 3 expected goals away at a top team. But what we do have to do is defend a lot better than we did. We need to defend set pieces better, and we need to be much more structured and organised in our defensive line. And they're the bits that we're trying to add on for Wednesday's performance.